Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, you made it.
Of course. You sounded kind of upset on the phone.
I just needed someone to talk to, and more importantly, someone I can trust.
Well, you know we like family. I always got your back.
How are you?
We're good, thank you.
Welcome to the monument. How many will you be having today?
Just two.
All right, table or booth?
A table is fine.
Table? All right, you'll follow me right this way.
I am so hungry. I am not going to be eating cute today.
Oh, you about to throw down like a lion that's killing a wildebeest. I know something is up now, but you know what? This is my treat. Whatever you want.
Boy, shut up.
Anne will be your server, and she'll be with you in just a moment, okay?
Thank you. Remember what you said. You're treating.
All right, what's up? Talk to me, my friend.
Okay, you know me and Wayne have been dating for some time now, and I thought we were pretty serious. So we were supposed to plan something for him to spend time with the kids so they can get to know each other and...
Good afternoon. How are you today?
We're doing good, thank you. And how are you?
Good. Fine, thank you. My name is Anne, and I'll be your server. Can I start you off with something to drink? We have iced tea, fresh squeezed lemonade, fresh squeezed limeade.
And I will have a water with lemon, please.
Water? Okay.
I think I'll have a lemonade.
Take lemonade? Okay, very good. I'll get those for you.
Okay, now you were saying?
Okay, we were supposed to set something up with the kids, and he had the nerve to come out of his mouth and say that he doesn't know about being part of a ready-made family, but it was okay for him to be all underneath me, and it just really pisses me off because I feel like I just got played for the goods.
You know, it really hurts to hear that. In real talk, that dude is a straight-up ass.
I feel like I just wasted so much time. I feel stupid for falling for that crap.
Listen, don't say that. I know it hurts. That dude ain't nothing but a bitch. But I'm glad that he showed his true colors before the kids got involved. I still hate that you got hurt in the process of all this. But like you and Angelique used to tell me, just keep your faith and learn from this. I love you. You know God loves you because he made that clown reveal himself before it went to the next level.
All right, here are our drinks. Got your fresh squeezed lemonade.
Thank you.
Yep. And I brought out some water for you also here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I brought out a fresh biscuit for you as well. Been ready to order yet?
We probably need a couple more minutes.
A couple more minutes? Okay. Right with you.
Why is it you always know what to say? But I guess I got enough training learning from your drama over the years.
Hey, is that a happy smile I see?
Did you just give Angelique some props?
Oh, here you go with the jokes.
That was not a joke. That was facts, baby boy. But you know what's facts right about now?
What?
I'm about to get this 20-ounce steak and lobster tail.
Please, you can't eat a 3-ounce steak.
Well, I just need your wallet to agree right now.
I told you I got you. I got this.
Well, you know Ruth Chris is right up that street.
Oh, I'm going vegan.
Whatever. You're the Bacon King of the South. Hello to every one of our Simply Straight Talk listeners. Are you ready to free your mind and free your voice? Well, you're listening to the right podcast. So let's get this real talk started with your host, Reggie Maddox.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. And man, we got another topic for you today. But I always got to let you know when I feel like a topic is going to be one of those topics to where everybody is not going to see eye to eye on. Well, of course, any topic is like that. But I think this one, maybe a little more confrontational in some people's eyes, depending on what side of the street you're standing on when the conversation is taking place. Because today we're going to talk about, how do you feel about being involved with a woman or a man that has kids and you're a single person that don't have kids? In short, are you okay with being involved in a ready-made family? Would you date somebody that has kids already? How do you feel about that? Now, there are a lot of, people saying, no, I don't want to do it. Some people say, well, it depends. Because it really is a lot of thought that goes into it. And although some people don't put much thought into it before they jump into one of these relationships, is something that you really do need to think about if you're going to get involved with somebody that has kids. Now, you will hear the term ready-made family. I am only using that term because more people are familiar with it. I'll probably change it as I go along because I really don't like saying ready-made family. But basically, that's, how people label it. We might just start saying people with kids. But for those of you who are asking, like, what is a ready-made family? A ready-made family is basically when a single person with no kids becomes involved with someone who has kids already. It could be as far as in infants, it could be teenagers, but it's normally when you're dealing with somebody who has kids, who are 18 and under and still in the household. That's normally when this comes into play. Now, there is another aspect of this is when the kids are grown and they're out of the house and you still have that stuff going on. But it's not the same as when you're dealing with kids who are still inside the household. They're in high school, junior high, elementary, or infantry. So that is the type of thing that we're going to talk about today. Are you willing to date somebody with kids? How serious are you about getting involved with somebody who has kids already? And what I want to do is I want to look at both sides of this. I don't want it to be a one-side thing because I think there are a lot of stereotypes and myths about people, men and women who have kids and they're raising their kids on their own. And then there's a lot of myths about single people who don't have kids coming into a relationship with somebody who has kids. So I want to kind of clear the air as much as I can, being fair as possible. But I also want you to know I have dated people with kids, okay? I married somebody who had kids. So I am going to speak to you from my experience. I understand your experience may be different, but let's jump into this. So I just want you to know that I have done this before, okay? Now, one of the things that people talk about is in regards to people who have kids already and trying to get into the dating world is some of the challenges that they have to face. And, some of the things they got to deal with, what kind of makes it hard for them to date is, now these are not in any particular order, but will the other person accept their kids when the time comes and the relationship goes on to become serious? Are they going to accept the kids? Are they cool as long as they just with the person and getting a little bit? But how are they going to be when it comes time to actually become an interact and a part of the kids' lives? Also, will the kids accept the other person? And a lot of things play into that as well, because it can't just be a matter of saying, listen, I'm a father, I got 2 kids, 3 kids, and you need to accept my kids like you're accepting me. It's the same thing. The kids need to accept that woman. The kids need to accept that man. And some people forget about that because they want the other person to come in and do all of this acceptance and just kind of like bend over backwards to make it work, but they're not putting any accountability or responsibility on the kids to make that relationship work either. Now, another thing is the other person only playing games. Now, they're only with that man or with that woman because they want sex or some type of benefit they can get from that person. Believe it or not, there are some men and women who will date a person with kids for the simple fact that they see that there is a potential gain they can get from it. They have no intent of really getting into the relationship. They just see something they want, and it sort of fulfills a spot. So they don't really want to become a family. They just want to get whatever opportunity they can get from the situation. It may be that they going through something and, they can't really get out of it on their own. And although that person has kids, they may be in a little bit better a position to kind of help them over their hump. So people I don't say always, but sometimes, we all know this to be true. People will go into a relationship with an agenda. Some people go in a relationship with the agenda of, listen, I think this is somebody I can build something with and we can make this work. Some people go into a relationship with the agenda of, listen, I need some convenience and help right now financially, or I just need somebody to kind of help me release my stress. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? That's what this show is all about, keeping it real. Now, another thing about dating, when it comes to dating somebody with kids, and this one, I'm really not in total agreement with. Some people say you won't be the number one person in the relationship. It'll be the kids. And I think this is what's important. Whenever there are kids involved, of course, you're not going to be the number one when it comes to the kids area of life. And here's the thing I need people to understand. There is a difference between a love between a mother and her kids, a father and their kids, than a mother and her husband, girlfriend, boyfriend. And the same thing with a father with his girlfriend, wife, girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. But it's a difference in those type of relationships. And I don't think it's a fact of you being number one as far as over the kids. People need to understand that if I'm dating a woman and she has kids, no, I'm not going to be the end all be all in the relationship. There is a love for the kids that needs to be number one. Then there is a love for me that needs to be number one as a man, as a husband, as a boyfriend. And it's the same thing. If a woman comes into the picture with me, she's going to be number one in her lane as my wife or my girlfriend. And the kids will be number one as the kids. So it's just two different areas of life. But the thing is, you love them both. The key is not who's number one, is being able to balance time, balance quality time as a family, quality time as a couple. That is the thing you have to learn to do. And sometimes you have to be able to sacrifice either way, because a kid getting sick may affect you going out that night, may affect, doing something, maybe affect quality time. It's going to, everything is going to affect something. But it's the same thing. If a woman gets sick, it could affect family night. It could affect a husband getting sick, could affect something. A husband having to work extra hours could affect something. So it's all about balance of time. It's not about who's number one. It's understand that you're number one as being the husband, boyfriend. She's number one as being the wife, girlfriend, and the kids are number one at being kids. Those are different lanes. Be number one in your lane. Don't try to be the number one overall. You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-man team. So those are the things that I think kind of makes it hard when it comes to dating when you're talking about people that are single, not singing, single. But there are some other things you have to consider too. Like if the ex is still in the picture. Because if the ex is still in the picture, does he get along with the wife and the kids? Or do you have the husband, the exes, and the person bad-mouthing each other? Which sometimes when breakups happen, people don't get along, they badmouth each other, then they badmouth the other person to the kids, which brings it into the relationship. Are they active or inactive in the kid's life? Now, from my experience, when the person has been active in the kid's life, it has made it difficult because one woman that I was dating, and she had 3 boys, her husband was sending messages back to the kids talking about he'll kick my ass and all this. Like, whatever. Hey, listen, you know where I'm at. Handle your business. But the thing about it is, you have to deal with stuff like that because sometimes an ex can be jealous if another person comes in, or the kids come to feel like, hey, she's a cool lady. We like talking with her. She'll be a great stepmom, or he'll be a great stepdad. He's cool. He spends time with me. She spends time with me. And some parents will become jealous, even though they're active. They may not be actively involved in the kid's life the way they need to be. Because once you move into the house and say you get married and you're there all the time, you might find that the ex may get jealous and want to start throwing monkey wrenches in the game. So that's a whole nother thing you have to deal with. So that's why having an active parent and an inactive parent can really affect the whole lifestyle of you trying to date somebody who does have kids. Now, the other thing is sometimes the inactive parent will try to become active when they know that you stepped in the picture. But the person who has to kind of control all this is the actual mother or father of the kids. They're the ones that had to set those boundaries because now they got to play, they kind of keep the ex at bay, keep the kids at bay, and then make sure that, you're not feeling the effects of it. So that's a lot of stress on them. So that's why the person coming into the relationship, you have to kind of be patient with them because that person is dealing with a lot because they're trying to hold on to you, keep the kids cool, like, listen, this is a good thing, him coming in. Your mother, the dad, your ex is, don't pay no attention. We're not going to get involved in that. We got this. But like I said, it can be a lot or it could not be a lot. And these questions are important because they would definitely play a role in how the child reacts to someone new, especially when you get serious in a relationship. Because if the ex, like I said, is telling the kids things, if the ex is acting out, if the mother and the father are both acting out, and although you're coming in the picture thinking, listen, I just want to be a good husband or a good wife to this person, and I want to be a good father to these kids, I want to step in. I'm not trying to replace the father. I just want to show them what a man is or show them how a woman is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to replace your parents. I'm cool with you hanging out and loving your parents. You should. But I'm not trying to replace them. I'm just trying to be an add-on in your life that's positive. And sometimes, it's tough. It's tough. But I think we don't give enough credit to the single mothers and fathers who's really trying to balance all of this when they do bring somebody new in. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the challenges that I have really faced when I dated somebody, and that is when a person makes the child the man or woman of the house. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I hear a woman say that my son is the man of the house, to me, it's a no-go. And I'm going to tell you why. It creates a competitive environment. And no adult wants to feel like they're fighting for adult love with an adult against a child, because the child feels like I'm the man in the house. And this one woman I dated, she really impressed that in her child. Her child was 9 years old. And he really felt like I'm her, I'm her husband, because she told him that. Even though it was supposed to be in like a joking kind of playful way, but you're telling a child this and a child is believing this. So now the child is like, well, I'm the man of the house, and he's you don't even have a job, but the mother is encouraging this. But this type of behavior creates a very difficult environment, especially when it comes to somebody new trying to come into the relationship. Because I don't want to sit there and have a child mean mugging me like he a grown man over a grown woman, which is his mother. You know what I'm saying? Because he's feeling like he's a man and he's not. You're a child. And it's the same thing. I have seen, fathers tell daughter like, hey, man, your daughter, like my friend told his daughter she was the woman of the house. So when he met a new woman and tried to bring her in like a dating situation, the child was acting out like she don't belong here. It's her house. Don't sit there. It's like you got to be really careful when you start telling kids that they are the man or woman of the house. When you start giving children adult labels, you are definitely setting yourself up for problems when you do bring somebody into the relationship. A child is a child. You raise them as a child. You don't raise them as children, but tell them they're adults and they have no adult responsibilities. So you got to keep that in mind when you are dealing with children, when you're trying to raise children and bring them into this world. If you really do seriously plan on dating, you cannot tell a child that they are the man or woman of the house. It's okay for them to be your children. Look, you're my child. I love you. You're my daughter. You're my son. You're going to grow up to be a great person. And one day you are going to be the man or woman of a house. And I want to teach you how to do that. And this person that I'm with now is a good person, and they want to help you to do that. But when you start telling them at 8 or 9 years old that they're the man or woman of the house, then when you meet a good guy, he ain't going to stick around for that. He ain't finna watch you talking about, oh, it's cute to have a child talk to him like he a child. Come on, dude. Come on, bro. Come on now. Y'all need to get that together. Y'all need to get that together. But what we are going to get together is this commercial break, and we'll be right back after this short message.
We'll be right back. So keep it locked here with your favorite radio talk show. Hello, Simply Straight Talk family. If you are enjoying this episode, at the end of the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And why not share? share this with a friend. Also, visit our blog at newlifenewmind.com, where you can find additional articles on more great topics. Stay tuned. The show will continue right after this message.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey everybody, and thank you for sticking with us after the break. Today we're talking about, would you date somebody with kids? How do you feel about that? And one thing I really wanted to do was kind of clear the air and kind of look at both sides of the situation. So I hope I'm doing that to your satisfaction. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think, man. Have you dated somebody with kids? What was your experience? If you have kids and you're in the dating world, what is your experience good? Has it been? Has it been good, negative, positive? Share your thoughts. Now, the thing about somebody who has kids who's going into the dating world, there's things you have to do to prepare your kids for when you start dating other people. Because when you introduce a new person, this is all a part of child raising. Bad mouthing the ex or bad mouthing men and women in general, that's all going to come out when you bring somebody new into the picture. How you behave, interact, the things you say and do, your child is going to copy that. And that person you're bringing into the picture is going to see that. So basically, you have to be careful how you raise your child, the things you teach your child, because you might be putting a mirror of yourself to this new person who's coming in your life and really wants to be with you. You may be giving them a negative reflection of how you raise your child that they may not agree with. Which brings me to my next point. If you're going to bring somebody into your life, and I know you're probably saying, I know this already, but you'll be surprised how many people know things but don't actually follow through on it. Are your parental values in line with each other? Before you introduce that person to your child, have you actually taken time to kind of ask them about their parental, how do they feel about parenting? What are some of the things they feel their strong points or weak points in parenting? Do they even want to be a parent? You need to ask these questions, man, because you'll be surprised how many people will come in your life and they want nothing to do with the kids, but they're cool with you, but want absolutely nothing to do with the kids. And that makes for a very uncomfortable and hostile home environment. Now, so for those of you who are thinking about, dating somebody with kids, you have to be honestly and ask yourself, do I like kids? Don't get involved with somebody if you don't like kids. Because if this person becomes serious with you and you're leading them on with the intention of thinking like wow, the sex is good, the kissing is good, and all that is good, but you don't want to be a part of the other part of their life that they think is good. He's a father. He loves his kids. If he's dating you and he's thinking long term, he's thinking that you could be a potentially good mother or a good positive impact on his kids' lives. And the same thing for a woman. She might feel like my son or my daughter need a good, strong male image that's positive, loving, and caring. And I think you can fit that. But if you're only getting with them for one thing or have a different agenda other than that, you're not only hurting that person, you're hurting the kids. Especially if the kids do come to get to know you and you've been only playing a role and showing them this fake person, then all of a sudden you pull away, you're leaving the parent to deal with that loss, with that hurt, with that feeling of rejection. So you got to be really careful about that. So one thing I'd recommend that if you are a single parent, find out and honestly ask them, do they like kids? And pay attention. How do they interact with kids, their nieces, their nephews? Try to spend time with them when they're actually around other kids to see how they act. Now, this is one thing that I strongly recommend people do. If you have kids, whoever you're dating, if they're saying, yeah, I'm serious about you, I want to love your kids, I want to be with you, take them to a kid's environment, and I'm talking about for at least 2 to 3 hours. You can take your kids or just go there. Just you. First off, just you two go. And y'all just sitting somewhere like Chuck E. Cheese on a crowded day when there's nothing with kids. And just see how they react. Because think about it. Your kids, if you got kids who go like going to Chuck E. Cheese, whatever your kids like doing, Take that person there without your kids and just see how they react. Do they start sitting there complaining like, man, this is too noisy. I don't like this. Want me to get control of their kids? You know, you need to start listening to these things because that'll actually give you a sign that, you know what? This person is telling me one thing, but his behavior is telling me that he's not really a kid-friendly person, or she's not really a kid-friendly person. I mean, do they feel like I need a lot of quiet time? When I come home, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be spoken to. Or I don't want, you know, when they start talking about stuff like that, think about it. When you got young kids, there's going to be some noise in the house. Do they feel like they have to have a lot of quiet time? The house has to be quiet. That's a red flag. Are they impatient with questions and conversations? You know, especially younger kids, they like to talk. They like to ask questions. You know, you might have a young male or young daughter that loves to talk and communicate. If you got somebody who don't like to do that, now you're looking at another red flag. Do they become frustrated when having to deal with the kids and something that you two have planned gets interrupted? Do they start to feel like, or start to try to make you feel guilty? Or do they try to contribute? Like, listen, it's no big deal. The kid is sick. You need me to run get something? You stay home and take care of him. Let me go run get this. Let me go get that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the kid throw up. Let me clean that up. You need somebody who understands what it means to be a parent and understand that there are going to be times to where you're not going to be able to follow through on your plans because you have to take care of the kids. And the kids have to be taught the same thing. There are times we may not be able to do something we want to do because the father is sick, the mother is sick, the stepmother, stepfather. You know, so there are things that you have to be able to understand that there are going to be some inconveniences, but it doesn't mean that one person is number one, the other person is number two, the other person is not loved. It doesn't mean any of that. It's all a part of being a family. So that's the thing about it. If you find somebody who just gets frustrated anytime you got to deal with the kids, you know, if she gets mad and starts complaining, that could be a red flag. And think about this. Do they have a don't touch my stuff mentality? Anytime you are with somebody and they feel like, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if it's something of value, but if it's just like watching a movie and the kid is old enough to put a movie in, be mindful of that because that's a person that's very possessive and he's not really trying to, you know, implement himself or his things into the relationship. He just wants you and not the kids. So be careful about that. Don't touch my stuff mentality. This is mine, not yours. Okay. And we talked about that. Are your parental values in line with each other? That's another thing. Are they in line with each other? Now, another thing that you got to talk about, when you're talking about someone who's in a relationship with somebody who has kids and the parent is active, be careful because as the woman or man who has the kids and the ex-husband or ex-wife is still a part of your life, jealousy can arise because sometimes that ex will try to say or do things to insinuate that the two of you have a relationship still ongoing, you know, from your past relationship, like in a loving or sexual way. They'll say things, they'll make jokes, they'll call at weird times. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk about things to the kids that the kids will bring back to bring discussions up when they know when you two guys are all together. So you gotta be calm. You gotta be conscious of that. And as parents, you know, you have to be willing to know when to say, listen, you got to know how to set the kids straight and you got to know how to set your ex straight. You got to have those boundaries because you got to be careful right now because jealousy can come from both sides because the guy might start to feel like, wow, is there more going on than what she's saying? Are they still together? Especially if the ex is painting a picture like that through the kids or through you by some of the things he's doing. Even a woman, she might be doing that. She might be a little more flirty or saying things or kind of insinuating things, or she might be a little more touchy or a little more huggy, you know, just to try to make the other woman jealous, to make it think like something is going on when there's nothing going on. As the parent and you got this new person in your life, okay, you need to be able to, kind of set those boundaries with your ex in front of your mate, you can do it respectfully and let them know that, hey, we don't do that. We don't do that. No. We don't hug like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to do that because you're going to end up losing somebody good. And once that person walks out, your ex is just kind of like, hey, I got you, I won. So you got to be mindful of stuff like that because people will play games. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people lose good relationships over other people playing games. So a lot of the things I'm telling you are things you need to consider when you are dating somebody and bring them into your life. Okay? Because you're not messing with just a man and a woman. You're talking about kids as well. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and I'll be right back with the final thoughts of today's show.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel. And a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best and I know.
Are you ready for the straight truth? Reggie, what's the final word for today?
What's up, Simply Straight Talk family? Welcome to the final thoughts of today's show. Now, today we talked about when you're dating somebody who has kids. And I didn't cover as much as I would like because this is really a conversation that can go a whole lot deeper on some of the different areas I covered regarding dating somebody with kids. But the one thing I want you to please hold on to and keep in your mind that if you are the person who's coming into a relationship and you're interested in somebody that has children, keep in mind that you need to be serious, especially if they have expressed to you that they are looking for something long-term, they're looking for something real, they're looking for something love. Because if they're saying that, they're looking for somebody to not only be a part of their life, but to be a part of their kids' life, a positive part of their kids' life. It doesn't mean that they're looking for you to replace their father or to replace their mother. It means they're looking for you to be a contributor that those kids can say, listen, this is what I learned from this person. This is what I learned from that person. Whether the mother, whether your biological mother or father is in the picture or not, you have to be a positive aspect in those kids' life if you're going to be with that person. If you do not have those intentions, then you need to be upfront and walk away. If you don't like kids, if you don't like being around kids, then you know what? Then you need to stay away from a person, from a man or woman that has kids that really is looking for something. And for those of you who have kids, understand this. Having cute kids is not going to make somebody love you or stick around. Because if they are not with you to be with you and to actually be a part of you and be an addition to your family that creates a bond, they're not going to. If that's not what's in their heart, if that's not what's in their mind, they're not going to do it. And as I said before, some people will play games to get whatever they want from a person, and they don't care who gets hurt along the line. Now, it's the same thing. You might have a single mother or single father who has kids who feel like they just need help. So they'll get in a relationship with somebody as a way of kind of bailing them out of situations as well. So it's the same thing for you, because you can have somebody who sincerely wants to be with you and be a part of your kid's life. They can become fond of you and your kids. And all of a sudden, when you decide that you're done with them because you've gotten what you needed from them, you send them on their way. You're just creating a negative ripple that's going to take place the next time that person meets somebody. That's what causes the stigma that a lot of people have when people say, oh, single men don't want to date women with kids. Single women don't want to date men with kids. You know what I'm saying? When you create a bad experience, you're creating a negative ripple. And it's the same thing. You know, when you got single men and single women who's out there doing the wrong thing with single men, with parents with kids, then you're doing the other thing too. You're also creating a negative ripple with them, because a good person that's single who doesn't have kids, maybe they can't have kids. Maybe this is their opportunity to be with somebody and have that experience in a loving and healthy and positive relationship. But because you did that parent wrong, they're so protective of their kids right now that they don't want to let anybody in. Because right now they're in protect mode, protect the hearts and minds of their kids. And not only are you creating a negative ripple with the parents, you're creating a negative ripple with those kids. That's why so many male children may see that like, wow, women are no good. They come, they hurt my dad, they leave. You have females who are like, wow, men just come and hurt my mother and they leave. And it creates a negative ripple that we need to stop, especially within the Black community. We need to be honest and upfront, and let's take care of our own, and let's be real, okay? There's a lot of good single parents out there who are looking for real love. There's a lot of good single people out there who are looking for real love. So if you're looking for real love, make sure you express that and be real and be honest. Don't create an image for somebody to fall in love with. Be you. Show them the real you. And if it don't work, you might be cool friends or just go your separate ways. But the most important thing is, let's stop creating that negative ripple that's hurting us and our families. Hey, thank you for checking out the Simply Straight Talk Show, man. This is your host, as always, Reggie Maddox, sending out shout outs, love, and peace to everybody. Hey, I appreciate everybody listening and checking in, man. Y'all keep it up, and we'll be back next week with another show.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Simply Straight Talk podcast. Make sure you visit our website at rmviagem.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Libsyn, SoundCloud, or Spotify, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. Thank you, and see you next week.